I was at the park today with the boys.
Yeah.
And I was just they were having fun being giants among the toddlers.
Yeah.
And enjoying themselves on the different hills and ramps and all the kinds of things.
Yeah.
And I was just sort of like, I feel like I haven't gotten out much amongst humanity.
Yeah, I know. Me too.
And it was like, I was just like observing all the people and all the parents. And there's this one moment that was really beautiful. There's this little boy, this little toddler who was like screaming because he couldn't find his dad. He got lost, which is like the worst feeling when you're a kid to like get lost.
Yeah.
And you could just feel his panic.
Yeah.
And there's this one mom who was holding him going, we're going to find your dad. Don't worry. We're totally going to find your dad. And she was taking full ownership over helping him. And then all the moms started like... And I even got off my bench and started to like morph into the space. And
Mom brigade.
No, it was literally all the moms started rallying like mom universe, like surrounding the child. Even if they were like, didn't come that close, but they were just like, their mom antenna and mom love all started.
It's like that the momness of momness.
Yes,
like
they all started to rally toward like their attention.
You had hive mom mind. Like
it
was totally hive
Every
mom mind.
went into action of attention and intention to help this kid find his dad. So they all started surrounding this one mom who was holding. It was so. I picture
it
was funny.
I picture like moms in karate positions on the outskirts, like.
But it actually was like I even was like you're just like, and so you're just. But it was really cool because that mom was on it. Like she was totally like.
Yeah.
You knew there wasn't a scenario where she was leaving that park before that kid found his mom.
Right.
And every other mom was like had her back.
Yeah.
And it was really beautiful to watch.
Absolutely.
Like, to me, it was like mom zone, but it was also like Austin.
Yeah.
You know, because everyone's really friendly here.
It's such a friendly place.
And it was like...
LA, it would have been hard for people to notice the toddler screaming over looking at social media on their phone.
Yeah. And I also noticed there was like... and everyone was really cool looking too. Like everyone like had like a good sense of themselves, and they were all like vibing their energy. And the family, as you could tell, there was the grandmas from out of town. And I had some really nice conversations with people while I sat there. Everyone was just so friendly and talkative, like we were just having really great conversations. And
I love mom hive mind.
Yeah, it was definitely cool, but it felt a lot less neurotic than the LA people, and a lot less narcissistic, you know. And everyone was just sort of, the kids were just all just playing and extroverted, and the parents were just kind of hanging and talking. I don't know, it felt really healthy, and it was a beautiful day, so that made it like we had freezing here.
Yes.
And literally like 5 to 12 degrees. And
which
so it was
which
like
is a real
70 today. Clear skies, breeze, it was amazing.
Freezing is like a real flex for our friends in LA and Southern California, and it's like for our friends in Minnesota and Ohio.
Yeah,
and
they're like
oh, was it cold?
They're like, was it 12? Was it above 0?
Like
Aww.
Oh, did you not have power for 2 hours?
Yeah. Exactly. But it was a really beautiful day, and then I went and we walked along Lady Bird Lake, and that's my favorite. I took the boys to my favorite spot where there's this one tree that curves over, and it looks like he's dipping in for a sip of water. It's
that's
like
amazing.
this one spot. So we walked by there, and it was a beautiful day.
That's beautiful. Mm-hmm. Hive mom mind. Like there's things that are in you guys, that are in moms.
Yes.
That are like deep, that go deep, right? Like it's, you can't, it isn't really something that you could educate or teach. It's just, it's innate. It's like
it's something Mother Nature does to you when you become a mother.
Yeah.
That you're a mother to like other babies too, in a way, when the necessity rises, you know? There's other times when you're sitting there like, can you like please have your kids stop climbing on me? But then there's most of the time, you know, you're empathetic and loving, and
but like a deep, powerful sense.
It's
to
a
protect.
village.
Yeah,
yeah,
the village thing.
The village to protect the children.
Right.
Comes in. Men have, I don't know. Weird...
Well, you bring up an interesting point, or your story makes me bring up something that you and I have gotten into before, right? So it's like, okay, so there's things that are innate in the mom, and there's
slight craziness, but much love.
No, that's not what I mean. No, but like in the dad genetic makeup, the DNA of the dad, we have like, like 10,000 years of protecting the cave from the bear or the saber-toothed tiger, right? Mm-hmm. And so there's a testosterone, anger, muscle flexing kind of like, ability to thrust the spear into the jugular of the feline to protect the savage destruction of his family. And now men...
Now it comes out with like rage as to where the
Now men don't have...
3-volt battery is.
Right. Now men don't have that outlet.
Or whatever.
So I find that I get as equally savage when I'm distracted, when I'm trying to make a steak for the kids and I get interrupted. And the same savagery comes out. And you're like, dude, you're like cooking a steak. Relax. I'm like, but the kids are like, they're going to mess up the timing.
But now you're a stand-up routine in the family. You're a bit that our kids do when you're cooking. You actually, and I have to tell you,
I'm a fucking bit.
I know I'm a bit, like, they have stand-up routines about me too, but I think it's like, I don't know, I think it's getting less,
Do you guys have kids that do stand-up routines about the parent? Okay, so you're right. I'm a bit now of dad cooking.
They do a bit about you when you're trying to barbecue or cook.
Yes.
Like, there's a whole there's like, Easton does like a whole thing.
Yeah, because I get super, like, tense on the timing, and if there's like someone blocking my flow, it's all a timing thing and thermodynamics of heat and atomizations.
It just gets super serious. That's the thing, is that it's like the ratio of seriousness to what you're really doing.
I was making garlic bread, and anyone,
it's as if it's life and death. And
everyone knows when you've got the garlic bread in the broiler, the difference between fantastic garlic bread and just like 5-alarm fire chars is like 5 seconds. So it's...
And I had gone to the market to get the marinara sauce for the pasta because I thought we had some and we didn't. So I grabbed my friend, Heather, and said, hey, I'm running to the market. Want to do a market run with me? So she was like with me because we were catching up and I was trying to find a sausage that I couldn't find. I was at the market a little longer.
A sausage or a sauce?
Well, I was getting the sauce, but I was also trying to find sausage for Christmas morning.
Okay.
It was Christmas Eve.
Right.
And we were making pasta and garlic bread for the kids on Christmas Eve. And I was like, I don't have anything.
I was making. Carry on.
Yeah, you were making...
pasta and garlic bread.
And I was like, I didn't have Christmas morning breakfast planned. So I was like, let's get those yummy lamb sausages. Right. So I was also doing that. But I couldn't find them. I couldn't figure out where they were. So it was taking me longer at the market. Which I think was starting to aggravate you because I feel like the pasta was ready and the marinara sauce wasn't there. And then you were trying to time the garlic bread. And it was like the saber-toothed tiger. It was right at the door. It was all very serious.
That there's pseudo nouveau chefs out there like myself, meaning not pro, but like, just pseudo chefs out there that are kind of fully with me on when it's all coming together, and then when something gets in the way of it all coming together, how you just feel this destruction of a creation. Uh-huh. But you were out making a market run with your girlfriend.
Yeah, and so Heather's in the car, and then you call, and you're like, how long till you're back?
Sorry, I'm allergic. I'm allergic to
critical wife?
To critical wives.
Okay.
Carry on.
And it was so aggro, and I was like, what the hell?
Oh my gosh.
And then I was like, say hi to Heather, and you're like, hi Heather, because I was like embarrassed that you called me and talked to me in such an aggro way.
I was not aggravated.
When we were talking about it, you did your impression of yourself, and you were like, yeah, how long till you're back? I was like, yeah, that was not how it came out.
Your impressions of me are, you are Shakespearean when it comes to your impressions of me. You do full on.
You have your son who also does bits about you. So.
Jenna, you are the Kate Blanchett of scenery chewing when you do impressions of me. Like you are like you get into.
Remember that time we were driving in the car and Easton was pushing hard on you and you decided to record him, and then he lost his shit.
I'll never do that
because he
again.
felt like it was such a betrayal. But you were going to try to.
I was going to try to make him laugh about his behavior.
I am tempted to do that to you so many times because I feel like you don't get it, and I just want to roll camera so that you can see that I'm not exaggerating.
Okay, I could.
But I think you would divorce me. Like,
the pure fear of having it played back makes me confront it.
Well, and then one time I did audio, and you were like, "Oh my god, delete that! What?" And
what was it of? What was it of?
You were singing in the shower.
Singing in the shower is different than like raging on your kids about something or singing in the shower.
Anyway, I was like embarrassed that you sounded aggro and you did sound aggro.
Yeah.
And then hung up and then Easton called 5 seconds later. When are you going to be home? I was like, Jesus, everybody just relax. And then I walked in and it was.
And I was in my moment.
And I had a question for you, like one simple question. You're like, oh, I'm cooking.
So we were like, we kind of realized there's like the man built in, like we've been, for 10,000 years, there was a way that men went about things, which is not needed anymore. It's just it's very little needed. I mean, there's obviously circumstances that require that for both men and women in this world.
Yeah.
But for the normal world, I don't need to protect the farm from invaders. There's no hordes coming over the hillside.
Yeah.
But all that energy and DNA is still in me somewhere. And so when you fucking get in the way of me burning garlic bread, it's just like, God damn you, Jenna. God damn you to hell.
I also think as like today.
Yeah. What do you got? I didn't even know there was anything today. Well, let it out.
No, I'm just...
Go for it.
No.
No?
No.
No?
No. This is not the hill I wish to die on. But I will say I need some time with some women. Because I've been home with a lot of men. Do you know what Heather said? That her daughter said?
What?
Her daughter said... Her daughter's 8. She said, Jenna's over there with like a lot of men. Because it's Jenna, Bodie, Story, the cat's a boy, and both dogs are boys. But like little Quinn had empathy for me.
Yeah. And our 2 boys are now teens, so that's like a lot of burgeoning testosterone.
Yes, and like, just corny jokes of teenagerdom and stuff. Anyway, so Story today was like, are you cool? I was like, I think I just need some time with some women.
You need to like...
But I think men have... My point of bringing this up was, I feel like you get a little like a little crab that sits in its cave. And you need... that just burrows into its little...
Because I'm writing...
Yeah, and you're like a homebody, you know? And you need to get out with the men. You don't do enough get out with the dudes.
That all happened in the last 3 years.
You need to get out with the dudes.
Yeah, I used to be at Yosemite and motorcycles and camping, and now I'm like structure, story, plot point, act 1.
Yeah.
And the gutters need to be cleaned again. So I get a little like home. Yeah, you need to go out with girls and go for walks and talk about yeast infections and things like that.
I like that that's what you think we talk about.
I'm sure that's what you guys talk about. I'm positive. I remember it. I remember it from overhearing all the conversations you would have with your girlfriends. For some reason, yeast infections, I felt like they would always come up.
I haven't even had a yeast infection in like 15 years.
Maybe it was your friend's yeast infections. I wasn't paying attention to who had the yeast infection. I just felt like I kept hearing about yeast infections.
Yeah. You know what we talk about? We talk about things of nuance. And you know what we don't do? We don't try to solve each other's problems. You know what women do? And it's magical.
Wait a minute.
We listen and we go, oh, yeah.
Oh, because
really?
men try to solve women's problems?
Yeah, I can't even say anything without you going.
Oh, I'm sure you don't.
So what are you going to do about it?
I'm sure what you do is talk about problems with no solutions, almost like it's an orgy, like with an ejaculative manner where it's just problem.
I don't have a lot of problems.
You don't have any problems.
I'm never the one in the friendship talking about my problems.
You don't.
It's everybody else. I'm listening.
Right. But I bet the girlfriends would be like a lot of problems.
You were like gnawing on a piece of meat just now. Like, I'm back.
Okay. I think we've been inside together too much lately.
I mean, the family time over the holidays is great.
Yeah.
But
I think we all need to get out. I need to go camping and ride a motorcycle.
You need to like argue with a tent. You know what I mean? You need a tent that's going to give you some trouble and the wind is blowing and you can't get the stakes in and...
That's a famous story. That's the story where I was on the beach with my oldest, who was a little boy, and I was trying to put a tent up on the beach and the wind was blowing it and I was losing my mind, as men like to do when things don't work. And so Story went down the beach to a family that had a tent erected and got the dad brought him over to me. He must have been 6 and said, "Can you help my father?" Because he didn't want me to lose my temper. And he's such a little Buddhist, like a little Buddha boy anyway.
Yeah.
He did, it's exactly story. Story at 6 is story at 15.
Yeah.
Same peacemaker.
Well, he was trying to do the same thing with Easton today because Easton didn't want to. I wanted, like, okay, guys, you can play in the thing, but then I get my time on Ladybird Trail. Like, I wanted to walk along the trail next to the lake. And Easton was just like, I don't like doing that. I don't like it. He had this whole monologue about how he doesn't like to walk and he likes to sprint and do And Easton's story was going, just go with it. Like, just go with it.
Just go with it.
You know, like, just lean into it. Just relax into it.
So
just
smart.
try it. Just try relaxing
so
into it.
ahead
It was
of
like,
his years
they were
at
like
50.
rocking back and forth on this like swinging bench, and
Older brother
and he's
trying
like,
to talk younger brother.
He's like, just try going with it. Like, just try, relax. Just say yes.
Yeah.
Just go with it. See what happens. You don't even know what's gonna happen to you. Try to go with it.
I learn from him all the time. Okay, if you were with a group of girls, what would be your dream day? Like, take me through your dream day with a bunch of girls. What would it be?
A meal.
What would be the meal? Spell it out for me.
That doesn't matter. Whatever we're all in the mood for. It's just like a lot of like where we can eat and then just sit for like 3 hours.
Yeah, but there'd be kale involved. I know.
No. What?
I don't know. Every time women get together, there's someone orders kale. Carry on. So what would you do? You just sit
and just
chat?
talk. Yeah, talk. It's very therapeutic. Exchange ideas.
I can't take it. I know. That is your dream day, isn't it? Oh my God, I get it. And if I was with a group of guys, that would be my dream day. There'd be very little talking. It would be like a hike. Maybe like...
But you know the irony of that? Who's the talker around this household? Who's always talking?
Well, I have the loudest voice, but I wouldn't say I'm the most talkative.
If you were to measure the amount of sounds coming out of our mouth each day and do a calculation...
You're not mistaking volume to quantity?
No, it's both. You
think I'm quantity and and
volume.
And volume. Loudest and the most words. That's interesting.
I think that's why you're so critical.
That's very interesting. So you think I'm the most talkative and I'm the loudest. I'm
not saying that you're talking about anything
important.
It's a lot of chirping. Because you speak everything you think.
Okay, that's fair.
You walk around the house you vocalize all of your thoughts.
Yeah.
I just stopped acknowledging
That's kind of like a monkey. Like I'm just like it's just a chirping. Whereas yours are less chirping, but once the engine starts, it's a long distance drive. Like you go.
Well, it's the same if I ask you a question about something. That's the dissertation pontification.
That's only when I want to show off.
Here we go.
That's only when I'm like showing off. Like when you ask me a World War II question, I'm like, oh, well, the embattlements of the of the landing. Well, maybe I chirp with more useless talk. I think you give more. I actually don't know. I don't know. Maybe you don't talk a lot. Maybe because it's just too many boys. And you're kind of just like looking for the door, looking for the exit.
There's a couple we know, and I'm not going to obviously mention names. We don't hang out with them very often at all, but we know them. And he is the most quiet person ever. And she is like... And he's just like...
Who?
Very quiet.
Oh my God, who is that?
Because there's no room for him to communicate. There isn't a space for him.
So oh my God, can you write down who it is for me on my phone?
No, because that'll be this weird quiet lull.
Okay. Tell me afterwards.
Yeah, of course.
And then, so she just talks and he's like not a talker.
Yeah, he's like, hey. And she's like, come on.
Oh wait, I may know who it is. Okay.
Because there's just no room. Do you know what I mean? And I'm in a house full of men. That's why it's you and Easton, and then me and Story kind of go off into our quiet.
Often the last year or two, it's me, the youngest, and you and the oldest, because he's a high energy guy. I'm a kind of high energy guy. You and Story are very zen, very loving and kind, and very like, let's go for a walk and look at the leaves. And Easton and I are like, let's wrestle.
You're monkeyish.
We're kind of monkeys.
Like last night.
Yeah,
Do you remember last night?
What was last night?
You were chasing each other and screaming at the top of your lungs
around the kitchen island. Yeah. And it's
good. It's fun. It's active. It's alive. But it's like it's so intense.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think we're like coming on 32 years.
Yeah.
And it's so interesting to me that there's still things about each other that we're still learning. Like we still don't have
learning.
Well, you don't think so? You think you know everything about me? Mm-hmm.
No, I just feel like it's more management of everything we know, as opposed to still learning.
You don't think you think you've got me fully pegged?
Why is this about you all of a sudden?
Because I don't think I have you fully pegged.
No.
So I know I'm still learning.
But that's more a reflection of you and your learning curve.
No,
in this relationship.
I also think you're a tad mysterious. You're a tad mysterious.
But was I always?
I think as you grew as a person, you have more facets to you that are more mysterious.
I think you're just seeing things for the first time.
You've mentioned that before. I just think you've developed more facets. I think it's like a mushroom. There's just a lot of blooming that occur.
Well, that's good.
Yes. I think it's wonderful.
Yeah.
I find myself fascinated by you all the time. But on the other end of things, you just think you've got me pegged, and it's just management. It's monkey management. Basically, you just think marriage comes down to monkey management, like a zookeeper. Like basically, you're just a zookeeper of how to like avoid getting shit thrown at you, how to not get bit, how to feed me at the appropriate times, how to in case I like have like a and I go completely crazy.
It's kind of accurate.
Yeah, you're kind of the zookeeper.
It's kind of how I feel sometimes.
Yeah, I get
I
it.
actually legit feel like that sometimes.
You should wear like a zookeeper outfit around the house with like a little pocket of treats. little monkey treats and a little cap with like cargo shorts.
I need a manicure. Yes.
Okay, let's go get a manicure then.
Yes, that is how it. Yeah.
Well, that is it.
Yeah.
All right, well done on your monkey management.